Each reference consists of these fields. ID must be unique number or any ID that will be unique. Then name of this person or of this object that is described in particular reference, and some additional fields like email. So this is basic structure, and we will repeat it again and again in all our references. Hello, this is day 4 and we will talk about references. This is our sales sheet and it has fields region, rep and item, which are just some strings that may be entered manually, and I'm afraid this is no good way to go with accounting, because we need each time the same name of region, the same name as rep and the same name as item, so they repeat each time. So I prefer making a reference to protect our data from illegal entries like pen and space. This is treated as another, it is not equal pen, so this pen and this pen are other products for spreadsheets, because this pen is with space at the end. So this entry is illegal, and to prevent mistakes like this, like spaces hidden, like hidden spaces or misspelled names of reps, let's make references. I would like to begin with reference of items. We will make new sheet for this. For a convention, we paint this sheet with green and call these items. We need two fields for this, item and item ID. We have already filled item. This is item name. Actually, it's field number 4. And we don't have item ID. Let's add it in our fields sheet. It will be field number 10, or next ID, and it will be item ID. Now we have field number 10. Let's copy formula that will give us field names, item ID and item. It is Vlookup formula for field sheet. And I don't want to search all unique items. I'll just use unique function for this. It's the first time we'll get just unique list of items, of all items from our sales sheet. Enter. So far we got only 5 unique items. Let's convert this into values. Control C and paste spatial values only. And items ID is just a serial number. Also, I like to delete extra columns right side, so my reference looks clean, my sheet looks clean. So now let's use this reference. Let's make data validation here. I will select all the column, including empty cells. I used Ctrl Shift and down arrow to select all this column, but exclude this item and include this number 4. Go to data validation and list from a range. I will select from range items. Go to this box when I have to select range and select big enough range, like items 3 up to items 100. Save. Reject when invalid data, because we don't need invalid data. And now our items are selected from drop down box, and if I start entering their names, they are all there in this list. But one thing I don't like in this scheme: what if we change some items name in our reference, like changing desk into board, go back to our sales and you see desk is invalid entry because input must fail within specific range, with this range. And previously we made it like desk, and now if I try to enter desk, I'll get a problem. Entry violates data validation rules, so I can't enter desk anymore. But we have two different products, desks and board, but actually this is one object. This was one object. Well, let's make it desk again, and I will show you the way how to solve this kind of problems. Let's add another field called item name, and this is field number 11, and let this be item name. An actual item is calculated field which contains both ID and item name equals item ID and space and item name, and that's it. And let's convert this into an array with offset a2, 1, count a, open paren, and count all IDs. Copy this part of formula and offset of b2, and also hit Ctrl Shift and Enter to convert this into an array formula. Now we have items with their IDs. Let's also add dot after space. And I want to make this in one cell. This formula gives us field name, and also after that I want to get list of values. Make it with array inside of curly brackets. This might work. Yes. Now it's a single formula which gives us items. And next step, this item is incorrect. Let's change data validation from B3 to C3, semicolon C100. Save, and of course this all is invalid now. I'll replace it with valid values with help of Vlookup formula. I will make Vlookup of this name, comma, from our items. From this list of from items, hit F4, comma, second column, comma, false, and we get right name. I'll copy this name down to the whole list, Ctrl C, and paste spatial, paste only values, kill our intermediate calculations. Now we have items with their IDs. So let's check. Let's make it pen number 1. You see this pen is invalid value, but it still has IDs inside of it. It has ID number 3. So we can then check real names by IDs. And let me show you how. I'll add some more columns right side and add new field here. It will be item ID. Item ID has field ID 10, so it will be 10th. Copy this, and let me also make some color changes. I'll change this field name to color of dark yellow, which means it has an array formula inside of it. It expands automatically. So if we paste data in the middle of this array formula, it will break and give us a ref error. So we don't need this. We need only this formula that will expand for us. And the same formula will be here. It will be also automatically calculated field ID, and it would be a regular expression, regex extract from this string. I would like to get all digits, but if there are more than one digit, for example ID number 10 has digits 1 and 0, in this case I will add plus sign, so it will match digits from the first part of this string. And again, let's check this, how this works. This gives us strings because the result is aligned left, but our IDs are numbers. I'll just multiply this by 1, so my strings are converted into numbers. Of course, I want this to be an array formula. Let me do the same trick. Instead of this d3 offset of d2 comma 1 comma comma count A of dates, order dates from A to 3 up to A. Close to parentheses, hit enter, and then you hit enter and you see result is okay, and now you may just convert this into array formula with Ctrl, Shift and Enter key. And we got all our IDs. Let's add another date. And we have NA so far, but if we get our pen number 1, we get this number 3, not number 1 from this pen, but first number, because our regular expression matches only first number, just what we wanted. Let's also cut this out and paste this here, semicolon, to make array goes below this Vlookup result, and make it inside curly brackets, hit enter. And now we have item ID as separate column. So when we have this item ID, we don't need to care about this data validation anymore, because this item is ID number 3, so in items reference it will be pen number 1, not pen like it was earlier. So let's return item name also here. Item name is column number 11. Same logic, I will just copy this formula text up to here, change H to I to get item name, and we must change this array formula to something new this time. So I will delete this for a moment and just get item name. And now we will use VLOOKUP of these IDs from lists of items. And I will use trick to use always column number 1 in my VLOOKUP statement. For this I will use curly brackets and get IDs, and after that, comma, I will get item names. Then comma 2, comma, nothing, enter, get pencil, okay. But what I meant by this state, let's copy it to another cell, paste, and you will get just this, pen and pencil. What if we add column here, or some user adds column? That's okay, because we've made this an array and it goes to another cell. Now it's cells C2 up to C. Delete it again, and array is still here, and now it's column B. That means our VLOOKUP formula will always look at column number 2, and it won't change at a time. That this formula is more stable, and converting this into array goes in same logic. I'll copy our offset part of the formula, and we are offsetting cell H from column H. Control Shift and Enter, and we get all item names, and all of them are correct this time. This is pen number 1, as we change it from our reference sheet. So this is good technique for making references. And now let me do the same references from regions and reps, and then we will return for more tricks in this video. So I'm here again. I've done some job for us. I've added more calculated fields, and all they are from new references, reps and regions. And now regions and reps are also selected with this drop-down list, and also I've done all these formulas in headings. So if someone will delete row from our data, this formula won't be deleted because all the formulas are inside our headings. And I checked my results and I saw an ace at the end of this table because some data is not entered. So we got an A error, and I guess we must add something to this array formula. Inside of it, let's make if error. If this is error, then return something else. This is IDs. IDs are numbers. So if number is error, I want to return 0 by default. I guess I didn't close another paren, and now it's okay. Let's delete this span, and we see 0 as default value. So this works fine. And also I like to add if error here. I'll cut this part of formula, add if error, paste it, comma, and what if error? This is text value. So I would like to see this happen, and let's check it out. Delete our pen and see happen. Okay, and let's do same job for these and these cells. Okay, now I am done, and you see that ID when it is not found, it gives 0, and when name is not found, it gives hippen, and I like this more than ace errors, so this is the way to go. And next thing, when we're done with it, I think now it's useful for entering data, entering first letter, then use your arrow key and enter the value west. And let's look at our reports. Our reports are not beautiful now because they have this number, these IDs of regions and sales reps. And let's go to report settings and check it out. We have region with ID number 2, and we also have region name, ID number 15. Let's rename it with 15. Now it's region name, and rep must be rep name number 13. Let's close our settings, hide these columns, and hide these columns. Now we have region name and sales rep name. This is rep name number 13, but we coded sales rep in our settings, so it is okay to see sales rep here. And second report also have these IDs inside. Let's get rid of them. I'll hide my settings, and you see we have some sales reps and some regions, and I noticed one thing, that there is direct relationship between sales rep and region. Each sales rep have only one region that relates to him or her. That means that one sales rep can work only in one region, and we may use this in our reps tab. We may add field that we will recall region for it, and I will use drop down list to select a region for each sales rep. But for now, let's return them with Vlookup formula for our data. This sales rep is here, or we may use rep ID, go to sales sheet, we will look up from rep IDs this column, lock it with F4 key, comma, and I want to get region for each of them. Column B, F4 key, make it inside of curly bracket because it is an array, comma, second column, comma, paren, and copy this formula down, convert this into values, and let's name it. Go to our sales and see that region is column 2. Column 2, and it is colored black because it would be selected. I have done drop down list again, data validation from regions. Let's select one region from these three, or maybe any other regions in future. Reject invalid data input and OK. Now go back and let's add another region here. We have east, central, west. So south, I guess south is OK. Now we get 4 regions and we may enter this region south because we predefined data validation range up to row 100. That means we may enter 90 more regions and data validation will work for all of them. Right now, so let's go on. We got regions here, and now I want to return our region to make it automatically here. I don't like that I got to enter a region for each rep, because I know this rep works in central, this always in west, so why making this extra work? And it is error prone, so we may make some errors. So if we enter this central, it's not correct because John works in east region. Well, let's make a Vlookup formula, and we will always try to use IDs for VLOOKUPs because IDs are most stable part of our reference. So ID, I will look rep ID in the reps reference. I will look from this column A2 up to A, hit F4, comma, and I want to get region from this column D2 up to D, hit F4, but we don't need this F4 here because it is an array formula, but let's leave it like it is. And comma, second comma. For now it's not array formula, let's copy this down, see result is OK, and we need to delete all these regions, we don't need them anymore. And let's convert this into array formula. I will get offset part of formula. I will always copy this because I don't like to make same work again and again. Use sales rep is J, change it to J and east. It returned correct result. So now Control Shift Enter, and all our regions are entered for us. I'll paint this column with dark yellow because now it is formula, so we don't need to enter data here. And let's also remove data validation. We don't need it anymore too. Data validation, remove validation. And I see an error. Of course, now I'm seeing an error because sales rep was not entered. Let's enter someone. And I've got an error in A here. But I think this error is okay. I won't make if error function because all my sales must be entered correctly. So if manager or accountant hasn't entered this data, so we must force him or her to do this because this makes an error. We don't like these errors. Let's copy also some data here to make this row completed. And now let's get back to our reports and make one more good thing. I have sales report like this, and it will grow because our years and sales will expand each time, and this table will be too big for our report, and I want to filter it. And I think good point is filtering it by region, because for now let's make some formatting. I'll format it like accounting, it's dollar, and if negative then it will be inside of parentheses. I like this formatting. And now you see these numbers are sorted in descending order. This is because of our settings. We made these settings here. Sum, we must sum order by sum of column 7. So this sorting is okay, but I like to see for each region. Let's make region name here, select of region name, and of course go to our reference and see that we need this region, not this, because this region contains ID, just what we need for our drop-down list. I'll make data validation, or maybe cancel, and I just will copy our validation from our reps. We already have done this validation rule. If we copy exact sale, copy it here, and so we got our data validation for each region. Oh, sorry, I copied it in the wrong place. It is report number 1. I will rename our report so I won't miss it again. This is report regions, sales report regions, and this is sales report reps by our reps. So I have this cell, I won't even make it wider. It's okay to merge cells here. It won't affect our data, so nothing will break in this case. So let's select something, but nothing changes here. And let's go to our settings. In settings we have and conditions, and I want to add condition when region. So we don't have this field here because region, we have only a region name, and let's add it. Let's copy our name. Let's not make it in field order because we don't need this here. Let's copy this field index, it's okay. Field index is 2. I want to add condition where call number 2, this column, and equals or like. I think like is better. Like single quote, and see this region here and select it. Select this region from T1 and close single quote like this, double quote, single quote, and double quote. And we have call 2 like 3 vest. So we added one more condition in our settings. Now let's hide these columns and select east, west, south. There is nothing in south. Central. Okay. But one more thing. Regions. What if I want to add another region, which means give me all the regions? Let it be ID number 5. Name it all. We won't use it in our reps because there is no rep that works in all regions, and it will be incorrect to compare regions with all regions. So we have this technical row with all regions. So now I can select all from here, but it won't work like this. And let's go back to our settings and make one more thing to check if this was all, if its ID was 5. So here let's make this tricky formula. If regex extract of this /d plus multiplied by 1 equals 5, then give me percentage, else, comma, give me this cell. Percentage in query language of Google Sheets means any sequence of text symbols. So hit enter to save this, and let's look at the result. When we check all the regions, we get all of them in this report, and we may also check all of them.